think we counted 11 forwards out there. Is there someone from last night's game who is jumping in tonight?
Yeah, I honestly don't know the exacts out there, but if you played last night, you can meet us right at the plane. Again, it's probably going to be some of those young guys. So we're giving them the best opportunity to succeed tonight.
Do you like where this team is at? Obviously one more game tonight, but from the start of camp to now?
That's a really good question. Because it'll be addressed, obviously with the team going into a regular season. I have been. I really thought our 4 days in Traverse City were excellent. The work ethic, the approach. We worked hard. Asked them for a little more. I think we got that. These 8 exhibition games, 7, good. Practices were good. There was a little lack in motivation at times, emotion, execution, which is all 32 coaches. It's managing the exhibition, but staying on top of it. It can be very frustrating, but it's a reality of it. So on the 8 games since we've been here, okay. But on a whole, yes, pretty good. I really think our core has led in a good way, but the push from some of those young guys has elevated the camp.
Just the intensity, and everybody talked about how difficult a camp this was, and then the compressed schedule this week with all the games. Is that going to be, how is be able to carry that over into the regular season going to be a challenge, or do you think it's fairly easy?
No, I think it might elevate us. There's probably a couple games in there that, when you guys even saw, we looked tired. Let's call it what it is. And that can be frustrating because you may not get the results. But I think there's a purpose to it. You maybe take that on where this team could be on opening night. We have to be smart about it. There was a plan, 3-4 days from our last game to Thursday, but I don't think the elevated effort in camp, how taxing it was, will affect. The goal is to elevate us and then build to maybe help us throughout the year. So great question, because you've seen the camp. When Patrick Kane makes a comment, and he's seen it all and then some, that this is the hardest camp he's ever experienced in his life. I can understand that question, but this is a purpose with a bigger picture throughout the year.
Health-wise, right now, is everybody available pretty much?
Yep, bumps and bruises, groans, typical game load, and what we've asked from in practice, but everyone's available.
With Tarasenko, it looked like the kind of physicality showed up a little bit, especially early last night. Is that element of his game a little bit underappreciated?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And again, Vlad, he has 2 goals for us. I think last night he did his job in that he finished us up 3-1. Obviously, I would like to think a little more detailed, motivated group would have finished that off when it matters, but obviously it wasn't the case last night, which is frustrating. But yeah, we would like him. You can see how we're built. We're very light with some of our skill throughout the line, and it shows up in puck battles, retrievals. There's nights it can be not good enough, and I think he's just a little bit bigger, and we would like him to help out a little more, and I'm glad he started to maybe try to get his game in order like that.
To have a guy like that who's obviously been a really good scorer, but done that on teams that were really strong defensively as well, is there a value in having experience with
that? Yeah. I just think he's witnessed what winning looks like. And again, when you want guys that have won Stanley Cups here, it's not that they won, it's they saw the process of winning. And that's what's exciting about someone like Vlad. And you'll see Vlad. I think Vlad has had some frustration in his career, some ups and downs. I know he's probably butted heads with some coaches at times because of his style of play, but to his credit, he's understood what winning looks like, and he's done what it takes to win, and that's a huge credit from him. That's the kind of stuff we're trying to build and grow. Why we think Vlad can be a very valuable player for us.
Christian Fisher was in here earlier, and and talked about kind of the way the lineup is slotted and guys in playing their roles. And I wonder, like, as a coach, how valuable is that to you to have kind of defined roles?
Absolutely. And kind of going into the season, got me excited that things might be a little slotted differently. But, you can do it different ways. We won a lot of hockey games last year with the fourth line that could score goals. We were a tough matchup for some teams. But I do like how some of this is built. But at the same time, if you recall last year, some of our success was maybe our top six, where I just described as the type of player. We had Rass up there to give them a little something. We had Villano on our top line at time that gave us a little pop. We had Kopp on the wing. So I still think it's going to be fluid throughout, but I do like how some guys maybe have identified roles already into the season.
You mentioned roles, and Christian made a point that in the NHL, guys know their role and they know what they need to do to deliver. I'm curious, when you have young prospects who are 19, 20, have been that kind of 1A guy on a lot of their teams, how do you, message taking on that role to them?
Great question, in that it's a reality of development and growing guys in the league. What I like about a lot of our prospects, and I've mentioned this a few times, is even though they're 1A and they are high picks or mid first round picks, they've got some two-way DNA already in them. I mean, Marco, Danielson, Mazer, you can see these guys in camp winning battles, having energy, having a little grit to them. That's what excites me about the development of some of these guys and growth. So there's always some growing. I think you're going to see that even with some younger guys making our team this year. Our ask of them, of what we want from them, is the same what we want to ask the team. Be a little better, responsible in their two-way game, not give up so much easy offense.
When will you and Steve get together and figure out what you want to start the season?
Yeah, we'll probably start getting into, even right after postgame tonight, into tomorrow, a lot of moving parts, obviously. And some tough decisions. I think I've mentioned going into camp, I hope we sit here after the 8 games with some very hard decisions, and you guys have seen our young guys have done that to us. So something we'll work through the next couple days.
I know Steve's the one in the season that makes the roster decisions, who to call up and things like that, but I'm curious, when you have a guy called up to the roster during the season, how do you weigh, preseason performances and what you see now versus what they do in Grand Rapids, what they do later?
Yeah, that's real. Obviously, you're going to value what you see in the preseason. Preseason it can be tough reads, both positively and negatively. But I think it's everything. I think practice, camp, red-white game. And then if they are in GR, I think the tougher decision when we start getting into those call-ups is, do you bring player A, knowing it's a 3-game road trip, and he plays in a lesser role, or do you bring player B, who's going to miss out on 20 minutes, both power play and special teams, power play and PK, down in Grand Rapids? So I know we've talked in the past. That's not a frustration for me, and it's your job in the media, but everyone makes such a big deal of making the team in day one, and I've never understood it, because Grand Rapids is 2 hours away. We'll have played 33 players by Christmas, but there's always, maybe it's a little old school, maybe that's where it was 20, 25 years ago. You made the team on day one. I think, in reality, we're probably going to have 15 forwards, 10D that are going to play for us and make our team. So it'll be very interesting how it plays out the next couple of days.
Is that messaging that you share with some of the guys that might not make it?
Not yet. There'll be. And again, I'm not holding cards here. We've been very open-minded throughout camp with a lot of moving parts. And this is a good problem. We've had some young players step up in camp. This is going to be an interesting 48 hours.
Thank you.